You're on mute, Vijay.
Hello, everyone. Let's start our call. Today is June 12th, and we'll discuss our progress on DevNet 5, issues we are facing, and the resolutions we are doing, and the status of our DevNet 5 runs. So let's start with Partha on it.
Thanks, Gajendra. I started testing DevNet 5 from Monday, ran an all Zeam DevNet with four subnets, I believe, and it was pretty stable. Justification and finality continued for over 24 hours without any issue, at least on the chain was progressing as expected. After around 2000 slots or so, there was a slight wedge, but the network recovered. But as Gajendra pointed out in that chat, there were few issues or smoking guns that we saw where the aggregation, or rather the block recursive proof generation was a bit delayed and taking longer than it should. So I stopped the DevNet after a while, and I haven't restarted again. Yeah, Gajendra, sorry.
Just to correct you over there, so block generation was not taking time. So we were generating the block in time, but then we were not able to publish it in time. So from the log, it seems that at most of the times, the block generation was on time.
Yeah, but looking at the latest metric that Kai shared, it appears that the Stark generation itself is longer. It takes around 4 seconds, I think. I don't know. That's why we were publishing probably in the next slot. I'll let Kai correct it. I mean, we've added a new metric, but I have to run with that.
I mean, even on the sim runs, basically, I'm able to see that publishing is delayed by the generation. So maybe generation is delayed, but then publishing is then even further delayed, right?
Yeah.
So first of all, that needs to be fixed. That why even when we generate the block in time, we are not publishing in time. So maybe it's related to threading. What we are doing over there, I think we are basically doing a blocking wait and before publishing, and uh, we are generating the block on a thread, right? So I'm not sure what exactly is happening, but my question is, why is it happening, and then what is the resolution for it?
Yeah. So
So maybe
we
first
need
let's
two
talk about
metrics.
this particular issue. So Kai, if do you have any further information on it, or a resolution for it, and then we can come back to other issues.
Uh, so I I think that's in the TG group. So for the log produce block only include that select type 1 ready. So it's super fast. So it not include the
So can we also do an info logo where we say that we have basically been able to create the aggregate proof? Because yes, you might be correct that the proof aggregation is happening later on after the block production.
I so Pasa suggest add a new matrix. Yes. So the problem observed is that the stack merge it is slow. It can only it can only works when it has one type 1 attestation, I think. So
right. So I see that the PR996 is to add the metric. Just checking whether you also added a log for it, because metric is
yeah,
okay, but log is also quite handy to debug.
Okay.
So Kai, right now we have like a 50% slot interval for type 1 aggregation, right?
On the beam sim, you have almost like 700 millisecond, right? So in first 80 millisecond itself, the block gets produced, the first part gets produced where we log it out. So I'm seeing in chain where we have this, I'm saying that build block proof. So when we are calling build block proof, can we basically do a log that going for aggregated proof production or something like that? So I see that there is a new log that says that type 2 block proof start merge and give some info regarding that. But also let's put a log where it's clear that this function is being called by the caller.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Just
So
add this extra log line wherever
yeah. So
build block proof is being called.
from my testing, I think right now only 20 to 30% percentage can 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 be published in internal zero. So almost 70 and above 70 published delayed.
So
to
so my question is that then what is the configuration that is needed so that let's say 90% of that is publishing time. So let's also try to run it on a bigger machine or machine with more cores and see that what is that configuration that gets us over there, because then the question will be optimization and the hardware requirements. Uh,
Yeah. So Gajinder, like I had added a flag which was like the percentage of the block reduction interval that has to be utilized for type 1 proof aggregation. It was earlier set to 90% because we just had like type 1 single message aggregation, but right now we have multi-message aggregation as well. So I think I had asked Kai to default it to 50, but even if we will allot like 50% of the time uh for single message aggregation and the rest 50% of the time for type 2 aggregation, multi-message aggregation. So if like 70% of the blocks are still missing their block production interval, in that case we should like further, I think we can try further putting it down and see, because there's a explicit condition that it should at least have a single aggregate that should have completed the type 1 aggregation. Post that, anything mid-flight will be rejected. I think right now, how Kai had done is, and I didn't push back on it because we had to see like if how long the type 2 aggregation is taking. But once we have those numbers in place, we can again move back to like the earlier configuration where I had added a timeout. So if we aren't able to aggregate even the type 2 within like the 10% boundary of the block interval, we should basically skip the production itself and just resume the normal validator duty instead of like doing a late publishing, and which will further like mm, like it will make the fork choice a little bit forked, which is not the ideal case. If we aren't able to produce in like 900 milliseconds, so 800 is like ideal, but I think we can have some buffer. So if we aren't able to, we can have it like configurable 10%, 20% thing. If we aren't able to produce it in like 10% of the block production interval, we should just skip the production itself.
so I might not agree with that because, for example, even with this, delayed block production, for
Mhm.
example, we see justification and finality, right?
Yeah.
So, it is like, okay, we don't need to do that. We can still continue to run, but I would like a log that the block production is delayed. or could not be completed in this interval when we are switching to another to the second interval. So this is something, this is a log that I would like, as well as a metric on it, like Partha wants. And if we have that, then basically our aim should be again to figure out how to best optimize type 2 and how to make sure that we have the right kind of machine for doing this kind of uh, testing, right? So on
So
both
I
the
want
fronts,
to have a I want to have like a delayed interval where we like stop the block production itself, because that way we can start accumulating a lot of work for the production blocks. And that way, like suppose there are four pending blocks that are trying to do type 2 aggregation, but none of them completes because we say that we'll anyways publish it late. But because of that, it will be like all of them will be starving the resources.
so as I discussed in the call, I think we can shift type 1 to the aggregation to the last interval of the previous slot, right? We know that next slot we have the proposer. So even though everything needs to be done, but we can still start aggregating, right? We so even without basically trying to figure out what things to pack into the block, because for the new aggregates, if they are on the same data, we can aggregate them anyway. And
Even for the validators, they'll start aggregating across the subnets that they have received from the aggregator.
yeah, and basically then we determine on the basis of how many data types we have, that we will only pack this much. Basically we'll say that okay, or or we say that okay, type 1 aggregation, as you said, will not exceed this particular window, and whatever then we'll go with it. The thing with that is that sometimes you might need to pack uh, attestations from your parallel branch, in which you might, so for that special cases where a side branch move forward justification and finalization, you need to pack that, because otherwise your block proposal will also always fail, even if you don't pack any of those things.
Yeah,
So
but
for the
that
specialized
happens.
for the specialized cases, we will basically allow the block production to go on for a longer time, because if we don't do it, if someone else don't do it, the network will eventually stall, right? So someone has to complete that block production, or it needs to be figured out by the way of the additional splitting aggregator role that we added, right?
Yeah, so for the side branches, whenever a block is received, we already do the splitting as soon as we receive the block itself. So for the relevant attestations, we do the splitting at that moment itself and write it to the aggregations map, I think to the new payload aggregations map. So that is something which is already being taken care of beyond the proposal
who
interval.
is who is doing the splitting? All the nodes are doing splitting, or only
Yeah,
the
all the
aggregators are doing
nodes.
splitting?
I
All the
think
nodes.
all the nodes, I think.
Okay, so
Can we do that only on the aggregator? If that's time consuming, because aggregator is a larger machine.
so the problem with that is basically if an aggregator doesn't do it and you don't get it, your proposal will fail, right? As a proposer, you would want to do it yourself,
Okay.
because as a proposer, even if you don't pack anything, you can still mint a block, right? Even if you don't get aggregates, you
Yeah.
can still mint a block. But you won't be able to mint a block unless you pack those from the side branch, if the side branch is moving justification and finality. If it's not moving justification and finality, it doesn't matter then. So it becomes a necessary condition. So Anshal, I think what we can do is basically only in the case the side branch is moving justification and finality, we do that. Otherwise, we hope that some aggregator will do it.
Yeah, I think that is the case right now, but I'll just verify. Maybe Kai, if you remember, you can tell us, but I think that is the case right now as well.
Okay.
Which is
But
the
So do
more
we
time
have,
consuming
do we have,
operation?
yeah, it should
Sorry.
be a time consuming question.
No, which among these is time consuming? Aggregation of type 1 or type 2 or mix of both?
So I think type 2 is more time consuming. Splitting is also a bit time consuming. Uh, I
Yes.
think type 1 aggregation is not that time consuming right now with the recent fixes that Emile has made. So yeah, that's like my rough understanding. I don't have numbers to back it.
Okay. I mean, I'm just wondering if we can add a specific metric to see within our clients which among these is consuming a lot of time for us, and then we can implement. I mean, improvements based on what is the actual scenario that's happening. Are we? I mean, is the tail due to a delay in processing of type 1 or type 2, or a mixture of both? And then we can apply strategies.
Yeah, so have we added metrics for it is the first question. If yes, also have we added log for it when this thing happens? And of course, when we do that in the log itself, can we also log out how much time it took? Because again, log is quite handy to figure out many things. So until do we have metrics and log edit for this?
I don't know. I haven't seen into that. I thought like Kai and Partha was looking into it. Kai, do we have it?
Okay, so Kai did a Kai did a PR for adding metrics to the normal block type 2 production, merge proof production, and he will add a log, and then we can merge that PR, and then the Windows PR that okay, this is the window in which we want type 1 to have finish with the timeout, and then type 2 will start, and then a third PR which basically will start type 1 aggregation on the previous slot itself. So who's going to do these two PRs after the Kai's PR is merged? Because I don't think there is anything else in left in Kai's PR apart from putting a log.
I can do that. So it's just like adding the logs and metrics for the time that it takes and when it switches between like type from type 1 aggregation to type 2 aggregation and when it completes those processes. Right.
Yeah, so this is the window thing, and the third thing is about about
The
what was
splitting of
that?
signatures.
Yes.
Okay.
No, third
Yeah,
thing is
yeah.
about starting the type 1 aggregation in the previous slot, the previous interval.
Oh, okay.
And then the fourth thing would be the metrics for the
So
splitting.
even if it starts like aggregation, type 1 aggregation and the last interval of the slot, it will the block producer might still have to do the type 1 aggregation again if there are like more aggregates that is received from the gossip or there's like a delayed gossip from any of these subnets or proposers.
Yeah, so but the thing is that you can say that okay, that's it. You're not going to do anything more.
Hmm. Okay, I'll add that. I would like to have like a interval specific thing where we time out these attestations because I don't want it to continue to happen even when it becomes irrelevant after like few seconds or stuff. So yeah, I'll look into it.
Yeah, so we basically say that type 1 aggregation definitely should not exceed beyond the zeroth interval, right? So we have type 0 aggregation starting from previous interval, and maybe we say that by the mid of the first of the zeroth interval, then we stop it, and then we only do type 2 aggregation and let it run till the mid of first interval. Because
Yeah.
but people might, but it could be yes, by the end of the first interval people could still do attestations, they could still delay and do attestations by that time. But I don't think nodes do that. As soon as the first interval is checked, they will start doing attestations. But even then, I think having a delayed block might not be bad.
Mm.
Yeah, it depends how delayed it is. If it is like few intervals late, then it's fine. If it is few slots away, then I think it's not okay because it will just hang up the resources that will be eventually that shouldn't be an issue because we'll have like a lot of proposals and like any proposer won't be proposing too many blocks like within a small interval, so it should be
So
fine that way.
so there are two things, right? If you are packing, if you need to pack something from the side branch, and which basically side branch move just justification and finalization forward, then that is a block that can't be missed, right? So even if it's taking more time, you will let it basically go out there, because the nodes will import it and it will be useful work for them that otherwise no node might be able to pack it up unless split is available. But so it depends upon whether the split is available or not. Split is the only thing I think which can. So this is the only use case, only case where I think we can basically let a delayed block in production happen. But even when this is happening, then so if we produced a split, I think we should also first of all send it to the network, to the aggregated network, so that others can have the split if we did the work and we were not able to produce block in time.
Yeah. So as soon as we produce a split, we just gossip it amongst the amongst within the network, and I think like it's okay. Like we don't really need a interval for block production because I think I was thinking more in terms of like the current DevNet size where there are very less proposals as such. So we have like frequent turns. So that might create a lag and like a bunch of blocks that we want to produce that are in the aggregation phase. But in like eventually with higher number of validators, that won't be the case. You'll have like good enough gap between two proposals for a particular validator. In that case, just there won't be like any starvation of resources.
But
So
you'd be
even now,
aggregating
right
a lot
now, there
more.
is no starvation of resources that we are seeing, right? For example, on the network that Partha ran, it is just that things are delayed because they are taking
Yeah.
a lot of action
Yeah,
is delayed.
yeah. So right now starvation can happen because we have like every other slot I have to make a proposal. So before I end the proposal of my previous slot, I have another proposal in line. But that won't be the case in mainnet. So that's what I
No,
meant.
but
That
so
Yeah, yeah.
we are.
One thing, just one thing. We need to make sure that doing proposal and attestation is like a singleton thing, right? So no two proposals are being built at the same time. So if the previous proposal is being built, then we should either discard it or discard the current proposal or whatever strategy I think we need to figure out over there. So this is one of another PR that we need to make sure that again proposal and attestations need to be singleton at any given time. So if you are not in the interval, basically I think discarding it is the best way to go for it.
Okay.
First you need to make sure that things are discarded. So yes, let's fix hard limits till what uh, these competitions can run for. And I think for block proposal it should be mid of first interval, and for attestation it could be the mid of second interval, right? So
Okay.
and let's start the type 1 aggregation right away in the previous slot, last interval of previous slot. So
So
these are, so can we basically form the list of PRs that we need to do, and can we get them out by this weekend itself?
yeah. So I think I'll do this aggregation and stuff. Partha, if you want to take up like matrix and logging stuff, you can take it. I think you already have pretty wide suite of additional metrics. So if you want to take it up, then you can. Else I'll create those PRs as well.
So, if because you and Kai have been working on the original spec implementation, once you add those stuff, if there is any additional iteration or improvement to do that, I will do. So or
Okay,
if the first one, if you can put through, that would be better.
okay. I'll do that. I think I already have a PR, so I'll look into that as well.
Sounds good.
Yeah, guys, PR is quite simple. So just add the log file over there and let's merge that log line over there and let's merge that PR. So
Okay. There is one bug fix PR I have as well. We had that external contributor who implemented a change. While testing, I ran into one issue which we have to address. We added a filter to the blocks by route, which is causing some issues. So if you can approve that PR, I think I forgot the PR number.
I
I
think
think
it's
it's 995. Yeah,
yeah, I'm looking at it.
yeah, that's one. And one further update, I mean, I've been testing Zig lib P2P implementation with Zeam. It's working fine with its only Zeam nodes, but facing few interop issues with Gossip alone with the Rust implementation. So I'll be doing that separately. And once I'm satisfied it's running for over 24 hours, we can get that PR merged as well. I'll set it for review once it's ready.
Got it. Sounds good. And Kai, how is the Shadow Sims coming along?
Uh, yes. For Shadow branch, I have already have merged the latest code and make the Shadow branch works. And I already test several runs. You use the uh use the Shadow father, and for I just runs 32 nodes, and it run about each run about 1,000 slots. I saw the result is okay, but it only works with one sublight. So when I switch to 4 sublight, so I saw some problem. And I think it's also the same problem with the type 2 merge. When the type 1 attestation is more the type 2 merge is consume a lot of
But
time. Yeah.
but Kai, on that, then we don't need to log the time taken by the type 2, right? We can say that type 2 time is 0. We don't need to log that time on shadow. And
Yes. So I have a config. So I previously I just set like that config match the real type 2. So I already changed it to a more so I already changed that flag and increase it. So I still wait the results right now. It's still running.
all right, sounds cool. And let's reconvene on Monday to basically talk about all these issues again, because I think we are making good progress, and let's keep up the pace and be the front leader in DevNet 5. So Anything else we have to talk about?
So I have a EIP 8292. I think it is ready now, so I got access to Ethereum Magicians to create a discussion topic there. I just got it today, so yeah, I think it is good to go.
Super. I'll take a look at it and see if we can have a draft merge.
Can you share that link, Anshul? And also, your problem with ETH Magicians is solved now?
Yeah, yeah. So I didn't have like the proper role there. So he
Okay.
upgraded my role.
Okay.
I was talking to Mark. Um, I'll put it on the group.
All right, and Partha, anything on the Keystore PR front, EIP, Keystore EIP front?
So I had a question there, Gajendra. What do we do? Because the original EIP that I put together was even before they finalized on any of the crypto stuff completely. Now this is more a keygen, so we might have to revisit that EIP completely. I'll have to see what is the method used. Maybe what is already being suggested might work, but I'll probably work through that over the weekend and share that draft with you. The problem is when I was there, I had transferred that EIP to the Ream Labs repository. I don't have access to that anymore, so I'll have to set up a new one in our repo, and then we can do from there.
Yeah, we don't need to. Basically, you didn't create a PR anyway against the
Yeah, I didn't
EIPs
create a
when
PR. It
EIP.
was just yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. You can just recreate it, create a PR against the EIP directory this time, because we'll
Okay,
merge it for the draft purposes
sounds good.
and assign it an EIP number.
Sounds good. Last time, Justin wanted me to get feedback from Antonio Sanso, but Antonio never came back to me. I mean, once we have this again, maybe I don't know who else should take a look at that draft before we proceed.
So
Because
no,
Thomas said he
we
would
can we
do
can
it
have a
right
draft
this.
and then we can do iterations on it. Nothing is stopping us to do that, right? So
Okay. All right. Yeah, yeah, that's fine then.
Also,
so
like the
the
cryptography stuff isn't finalized yet, right? Part mentioned that it is finalized now
Cryptography for?
for Lunacy.
so even if cryptography is not finalized, that means that this EIP will not be used, right? There will be some other EIP for the new cryptography, or even this EIP could be updated. But I think we should just start with it and then basically throw it out on open and then let things roll on.
Okay. Yeah, so like my
I mean,
EIP is, I think, independent of all the cryptography stuff. It is more of a wave thing, but I think Partha's EIP will be dependent on cryptography to some extent, not much. But, yeah.
yep. I mean, the way POTUS responded to one of those questions, it looks like it'll take quite a bit of time convincing the core devs of this passing ECD. I mean, not I mean the lean thing itself, not our EIP in particular, but in general.
Mhm. Mm. Also, like I think Partha, you were working on EIP on a spec for W6 as well.
Yes, I have a version. Gajendra had a look at it, but I mean, it's not completely reviewed. I can share that link as well. But there is a lot of change because Glamsterdam EIP list is not, I mean, although it's frozen, the implementation is not ready. There might be a lot of changes that we might have to do. And
Yeah, I think like
on
they
that
have.
question,
Okay.
Sorry, the question I had is other teams seem to be taking help from EPF participants to implement the EL integration layer. I don't think anybody is contributing to our code base for this EPF, but I was just wondering, is that something we should also consider? Gajendra, this is more a question for you.
Yeah, so I guess we can drop in a project over there. It's not really an issue. So if any of you want
Okay.
to write it, I guess we can do it.
Okay, sounds good.
Cool. So who's gonna do the EPF thing then? Who's gonna run with it?
I think I had discussed this with you earlier as well. I'll write that proposal about adding the test config and overall caching here and there in the CI itself to improve the CI. But if Partha wants to write about real integration, then he can. Or
So
I can help him something.
so basically this is our DevNet 6 proposal, right? So
Yeah.
so we can just frame it like that.
Yeah, we need. Yeah, basically engine API integration within Zeam. That's the high-level
Yes.
requirement, which is what I believe Reem and Grandin are doing as well.
To tell you,
But
basically,
yeah,
Indian
we can
API.
narrow down the scope. if required. Sorry?
I think there is ego from Anchal's side, but to tell you, I think Indian API is very easy to implement. So, I mean, I don't think that there should any be an issue with it, or people should just be able to independently do it. So, I guess that is okay for us to give it to
Okay.
EPF.
All right.
It should be a pretty easy integration, in my opinion. But yes, depends upon how much context a person has.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Do we have anything else for the call? All right, guys. Then I'll schedule a call on Monday and let's talk then and take a review on the things that we discussed today. And the things that we discussed today, some of those things are super easy. Let's get them done.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Monday.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Mhm.